All right, I think I'm finally ready after I've gathered a few tools to start making some sterling silver jewelry. I'm going to start by making a Cuban link chain. So what I've done is flattened this rod, and I got, what is this now? About 3.4 millimeters on the flat side by 4.4 millimeters on the wide side. So it's not super precise, but should work well. Probably gonna punch a hole right here so that I can put this in a drill and spin it up and start making oval links. Got the hole in there, and now the sterling rod is in there. I'm going to twist this around just a couple times because I don't want to waste this stuff. It's something I'm not used to as far as semi-precious metals, things that are expensive. I'm used to working with stainless that's pretty expendable and I can just kind of waste it, but now I don't want to waste the sterling, so I'm just going to make a couple loops and see how the links look. All right, now I got a few of these oval links. We're going to cut these off and see if I can't just put them together and see what kind of gap we have. I'm gonna open these up, attempt to open these up, which seems to be easier said than done. Again, I think I got the wrong pliers here, but that's what I got today. I'm waiting on more tools to arrive, so let's take a look. Damn. I got a feeling that's going to be the first of many times that I'm going to do something like that. Anyway, let's see. Okay. And I think we got to put the second one on, right? Well, here's my first set of sterling links, slightly ovaled and everything, but I haven't soldered them yet. But hey, there it is, my first sterling link. When I first started metal sculpture stuff, I did a lot of brazing, but this is the first time I've done it in like 8 years. And this is the first time I'm doing it on sterling silver too, so let's see how this goes. Oh, there it goes, finally. Started flowing. Well, there it is, that's my first sterling braze. Well, with the first 3 links, I guess a success. I like their size and dimension. I'm gonna use my drill with this little makeshift tool I've made to start the coil. See how I embarrass myself here. See what we can do. So here's the reason why I made it from this round shape as this rod comes to oval. See, by flattening it on both sides, like I showed you in the first video, it creates an oval shape. Again, the proportions of which are kind of artistic interpretation. It's however the artist wants to make the rings, but for me, I have no clue what I'm doing. So it's gonna take a lot of trial and error before I really figure out what I'm doing and what I want and how I want to make my designs. Well, I think I may have just made a critical error. I'm going to chalk this up to learning instead of calling myself totally stupid, even though I feel that way, because I made this coil like I planned on and I can't get the shaft out of the coil. You have to get it out because the fret saw will not allow you to cut straight. You have to cut at an angle, which means the shaft needs to be gone. You need to cut this coil just by itself. It just needs to be a coil on its own, and you need to fret saw it. I tried using my diamond wheel on my Dremel and it works, but man, it leaves a huge gap and you do not want that. It's going to leave really poor quality. So you want a thin cut line with the fret saw. And I cannot get the shaft out. I have hammered it, I have annealed this coil as best as I can, and it's just not coming out. Got the rod out, and that was a lot more work than I really wanted it to be. Apparently you're supposed to like wrap paper around the shaft and then burn it. The paper burns and that little bit of slight difference will allow it to slip off, but I got it off with more heating and a bunch of oil. So I'm gonna have to clean these things very thoroughly before they get brazed. You know, these pieces are gonna be scrapped here in the middle. They are marred up because I'm just trying to pound it on something to try and get it out.
So I got it out. Should still be enough rings to make a bracelet.
All right, friends, we are making progress. Slow, painful progress. We've got a sterling link, or a chain, I should say, rather. Yeah, it's looking pretty chainy. The signature Cuban link twist, you just keep twisting it until all the links are lined up flat. And that's a little bit of a scary part, because if there are any weak soldering joints in this, they'll break there and I gotta repair it and then continue twisting. Once it's twisted, you lay it on something flat and then you can go over it with a file and give it that signature flat surface finish. From there, polishing and then solder on 2 links and it is done. All right, embarrassing myself with the new objective here. Let's see if I can't ruin it, but yep, already happened. Link already broke. All right, well, let's try this again, but I made a really crude T-tool here, just something I whipped up really fast just to help me twist this thing. I didn't even realize that, hey, I work with stainless, I can maybe make my own tools. So clearly, my soldering game is not great yet. So there are a few different ways that I can twist this up. I can go individually link by link, I suppose, and do that. There are a couple other tools and things you could use, but this is the tried and true way, it seems like, just twisting it by hand. I'm just going to do it this way and allow the links to continue to break, as I'm sure they will, so I can figure out which ones are breaking and kind of analyze and learn from that. So let's give this a go. I'm fully expecting something to break. The tension on the chain is pretty tough. Oh, there it goes. Damn. So what I decided to do is this link right there is just a raw untwisted link, because the link that broke is half twisted and I would have to like untwist it to resolder it, and it kind of felt like it would be weak, and it's strange because it's halfway twisted, right? So you'd have to put it in there, you know, properly solder it so that it matches the twist, and So I think this is okay. By having an untwisted link in there, it'll just kind of catch up. At least that's what I'm hoping. We'll see which link breaks next. So here we go. Come on, honey. So close. All right. All right, trial number, I don't know, 6 or something ridiculous. There's been several attempts I've done that haven't been recorded. Here's the link that I replaced. It hasn't been bent or twisted at all yet. It's darkened because, once again, the link was soldered to itself, so I had to reheat it up. So if this breaks again, if it breaks here, I'm gonna know that that's because I reheated the link and maybe it weakened that solder joint. Even though I do my best to heat it up and not actually heat the good solder joint, I only heat up the area that I need to get unattached. So here we go. All right, well, I think that's it for the most part, but you can see like this chain here, or this link here, it doesn't match the twist. So what I can do is I can start to manually, in fact, you can just do it like this. I think I gotta get it closer to the vise, but now I can sort of manually start going through here and getting all these links to match. I think that's it. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I just gotta get this one to match. Well, it's lying flat on its own. It's twisted evenly, but look at this. See, from this profile, you can see these sort of uneven sections, especially up at the top here. You can see some of these raised areas. So I need to flatten it a bit got my hammer face polished up a little to kind of protect it, but it's okay because the top and bottom of this chain will be filed down, sanded, and polished, so any marring on the surface should be just fine. As I'm holding this in my fingers, I can sort of feel the tension and the binding in these links, so I think the objective here is to flatten things out so that it gives a little stretch and a little wiggle to the chain, while at the same time also making it even, of course. So now we'll see if this does that. Now, after a bit of hammering, go along the surface of this, you can see it's for the most part very flat. There's no lumps in it. All right, boys and girls, we've got a flattened Cuban link chain. So I'm gonna go through and clean it up, kind of smooth out some of these corners. Like I got a little bit right there on that link that needs to be smoothed down. After this, I have to put it on something flat and secure it. I've seen some people do nails on either end on a piece of wood, and it kind of keeps it tight, and they can go through and file it flat. On both sides, they will use shellac. It's a substance you can melt down and pour over the links, and that'll hold it solid. And then you file it, and then heat it back up, and then remove the chain. So clean up and filing after that, which I am most excited about. Okay, here we go. Shellac. Besides being a wood finisher, I don't know anything about this stuff. I thought it was a liquid, but I guess it comes in like bar form. As I saw online, some guy would take this chip style shellac and heat it up and melts on top of itself until it becomes some kind of like malleable like wax. So I want everyone to witness this. This is weird. Whoa. Okay, let's turn down the heat, because that's a bit much, I think. There we go. Yeah, I saw him just do this, and he just kind of went around and let it melt together. I assume you gotta move fast, but yeah, this is the plan, because I didn't really want to pour it on top of the chain. I feel like that's a bit too messy, but what he did by melting into a bar was really usable. So I like this so far. It's sort of waxy putty now. This is cool. So now I can just, put this on top of a piece of metal and then lay the chain on top of it. That's really interesting stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat this up and see what happens if I can dab this on maybe. Yeah, like this. Because what I want is like an even coat on top of this metal, because I don't want to pour this shellac on top of the chain. I feel like it's a little bit messy. I've seen other guys set it on top of shellac like this, so I'm gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do now is put the chain on first, see if I can't heat it up and let it sink into it. Maybe that'll work. I don't want a super flat Cuban link. I want more of a contoured look. So that's what we're going for here. All right, I got really impatient. I jumped right into polishing after I filed and contoured and sanded it down to knock out the filing marks. I really cannot express how video does not do this justice. We've all seen polished jewelry though. It's nothing new, but for me, having done this is very pretty, and I'm used to polishing stainless steel, but sterling silver just it just polishes a bit different. And the process was really fun because it's such a softer metal. The sanding marks come down real quick. It's very forgiving, and it feels amazing. It's really fun, and very proud of how that looks. These end clasps here have arrived, and this sterling silver lobster claw clasp has also arrived. So now I can solder on this other end because I've already done this one, and now I can measure out the entire length that I need. My wrist is 7 1/4, so I'm going to make the whole thing 7 1/2, including this mechanism here. So I need to take out a few links. Typically, if I had done this more accurately, I would have just made exactly enough in the first place. But because there was a lot of experimentation, a lot of things that I wasn't sure of, I made extra links. So now I'm just going to cut off a few and then solder on that end, and we can repolish this up, bring back that beautiful shine, and it's all done. All right, well, it feels like it took way longer than it needed to, but hey, it's my first Cuban link all done, and it had a lot of new processes and tools that I was learning, and this whole thing is it's so unique. It's a unique process, and the last thing I need to do now is run it under some hot soapy water to get the polishing compound off. Well, I'm really impressed by what just an ultrasonic cleaner and some basic dish soap does for this thing. You got all the polishing compound out between the links, and now it's just really bright and clean. Really happy with it. So hey, thanks for watching. I hope you all learned something. I certainly did. This was very new to me. What you watched was very much raw first takes, all the new processes and tools. You were seeing me kind of mess up, and you watched me learn very much live. So again, I hope you all learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you all next time.